Hi everyone. I'm Melissa. I was the co-chair of the Skin Cancer Task Force last year and am a member of the Skin Cancer Task Force this year. And I'm just filling in for our new co-chair, Sarah, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but I'm happy to be here and kind of walk you through what we do on this task force. And if anyone has any questions, I can try to answer those, or you can put them in the chat box and I can answer them as we go along. So the Skin Cancer Task Force is a really fun, interesting task force. We get the opportunity to really interact with the community a lot. Most of what we do on the task force are community engagement projects. So we will go to a lot of community events throughout all of Colorado, and we get to interact with all the people at these events and kind of provide sun safety and skin cancer awareness and education for the attendees of those community events that are going on. Usually what ends up happening is we'll have, a booth at these events and we bring our UV camera. I don't know if we have that on the next slide, but we bring a UV camera that's really cool. It kind of shows the UV damage that one has accrued throughout their life or the past year, which tends to be pretty high in Colorado since we are very high up. And it's a way to interact with people at these events and kind of get them talking about, what sunscreen they use, if they use sunscreen, what SPF, and kind of their sun safety and skin cancer prevention measures. We've been to a lot of events. We try to go to as many as we can over the year. This year has been a little bit different with COVID, but the year before that, we went to about 15 events. We went to, it was called like Dillard's. They were trying to break the Guinness Book of World Records on the number of people applying sunscreen. We went to Civic Center Eats. We go to a lot of health events at Anschutz Medical Campus. We were at the 9 News Health Fair. We also join forces a lot of times with the Sun Bus, which is a mobile clinic. It's like a 40-foot tour bus, and it has a clinic on the bus that a dermatologist can provide free skin checks. And we usually attend events with them, and we'll also bring the camera and provide more skin cancer awareness and education to people at these events. So we've had a lot of success going to these events, a lot of good community engagement on this task force, which is always really fun to actually get to talk to people, in our community. And I think I covered most of those on there. So these are just some pictures of our fun events. So on the left is Tommy Stewart at the VA Health Fair. That was a really fun event at the VA on Anschutz Medical Campus. And then in the middle, that's us. We have a lot of medical student volunteers and PA volunteers that like to join and hand out sunscreen samples and provide education to at these events. And this was at, I think, the Anschutz Health, forget the exact name, but it was on the Anschutz Medical Campus. And then the picture on the right is the Guinness Book of World Records, which they did end up breaking that record. And so that was a really fun one. We have some really good videos on that. And then I think we have some more pictures maybe on so these are some other projects that we've worked on. So our main focus is community outreach and attending these events all throughout Colorado, but we also encourage a lot of our task force members to kind of think of their own ideas and start their own mini projects that we try to support them throughout the year on. So one of our members, Deborah Hess, who is amazing, she's down in Grand Junction, and she was actually awarded a very good grant on providing college campus providing the cameras to college campuses throughout Colorado. And this was an attempt to kind of engage young people and let them kind of go out into the community and, educate their community on sun safety and skin cancer prevention. So that's awesome. And she's traveled all across Colorado, setting up these kind of cohorts of groups at these campuses and giving them cameras and providing them training and supporting them. So she's worked a lot on that. So we're really proud of her. And I think there's more. So Another one of our kind of passion projects that we've been working on for the past year has been focusing on legislation for banning tanning bed use in minors in the state of Colorado. So interestingly, Colorado is now one of maybe 4 states that doesn't have any age restrictions on tanning bed use. So, you could be as young as 12 and still go get a tan or go to the tanning beds in Colorado. Which is pretty disturbing. And, we already have a very high UV index and everybody's outside. So our rates of skin cancer in Colorado are already very high. And this is putting our young people at increased risk in Colorado. Starting tanning, I think some interesting statistics are 1 tanning bed session before the age of, I want to say 25, increases your lifetime risk of melanoma by 35%. And those statistics kind of compound the more that you tan, especially in your younger years. So we've worked diligently over this past year to kind of build awareness of this topic, calling legislators, talking about this at the Colorado Cancer Caucus, and kind of, making this problem known to our representatives here in Colorado. And through quite a bit of effort, we were able to get a bill sponsor, so Representative Caraveo. This is a meeting of, so we have Dr. Neil Box, Dr. Della Valle, that's Representative Caraveo, Dr. Sadegpour, and Dr. Lim. And that was a meeting of all of us at the state capitol where we kind of briefed Representative Caraveo about this problem. And she sponsored a bill that was put forth or introduced at the 2020 legislative session. And unfortunately, with everything going on with COVID, it had to get postponed, but the plan is to reintroduce this bill in the 2021 session. So that's a passion project for a lot of us on the task force, and something we hope to get kind of some closure on next year, and something really exciting that we've been working on. So our current goals, like I said, we like to encourage all of our members to start new projects. Some examples of projects that people have started. One is called MEDI, it's the Melanoma Early Detection Education Program. And this was a program that was started last year to educate estheticians and massage therapists on detecting melanoma. So we have quite a few med students that are working on that project to get that up and running. It's been difficult with COVID, but we're trying to kind of make maybe some of those sessions remote. And then one of our other members has worked previously on providing skin cancer and sun safety awareness at local pools. That may not be a problem this year, but to kind of set that up for next year. So these are all some mini projects that are going on. And so, yeah, this year our goals have been kind of similar to last year. We just want to keep encouraging our members to, be involved in our community outreach. And if they have any new ideas, we always try to support them, whether it be with volunteers that they need, just, bouncing ideas off of each other, or, finding grants to apply for. So we're trying to build our volunteers and our engagement this year by getting new members. So we get a lot of members with medical students and community members. We have people working for nonprofits. We have people working in like lobbyists. So a lot of different people at our task force meetings that help out a lot with our projects. And then one of our newest projects has been trying to get some sun safety education programs into local schools, and really trying to work on adapting some of these education programs to remote learning initiatives, which we feel like would be very helpful for students, during this time, and for teachers during this time. So that's something that we've been working on. And then, of course, we work very closely with Dr. Box. He runs the Sunbus operations, and I believe next year they'll be back up and running, more similar to how they were their first year. So we love to volunteer at their events, and we encourage all of our members to kind of track their fun events that they go to and volunteer to help them out. So we have a task force meeting. It's the first Tuesday of every month from 2 to 3. And yeah, we love having new members there. We kind of go through all of our new projects, any ways that people can get involved, or any new ideas that people have during the, that they want to kind of get projects started. So we always talk about that too. And I think I put on some other, oh yeah, so you can join our mailing list through the Colorado Cancer Coalition website, or you can also email us at this email address and I'll put you on the mailing list so you can get updates on our meetings and any other events we have. And then we have an Instagram, so be sure to follow us. I post pictures of us at events. A lot of them right now have been kind of throwbacks to our events from last year, but we also post some educational material and sun safety tips on there too, which can be fun. And then that's our Facebook page as well. I think that might be it. Yep. So I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you all for listening to my spiel about the Skin Cancer Task Force, and I hope we'll get some new members. We're really excited to get new people involved.
Thank you, Melissa. And Dr. Della Valle, I know you're here too. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
I think it's been about 10 years that I've been a co-chairman of the task force, and what keeps energizing me are the efforts of people like Melissa and Sarah, the current co-chair of the task force, and all the work they do to make all of these events happen and really increase our community outreach. So happy to keep doing this work in conjunction with all these excellent med students, and to see so many of them going on to a career in dermatology and continue the work in skin cancer prevention.
Yeah, Dr. Della Valle is our guiding light for all of this stuff. So he provides us so much support and encouragement on this task force, which is amazing.
And they are my energizers. So without them, I wouldn't have the energy to do all this work.
If I might, Melissa, as a member of the task force,
Yeah. Hi, Tommy.
really encourage everybody. Skin cancer, of course, is a very prevalent problem here in Colorado because of our altitude and thin air, and the events that we go to and participate in are really a fun time, and get to operate the UV camera and watch people's faces as they see the condition of their skin through that camera is really an amazing experience, and very useful. So if you're looking for a good time and a good opportunity to educate people of Colorado, I strongly encourage you to join this task force.
Hi, this is Deborah Hess in Grand Junction. I agree, Tommy. It's so much fun to take that camera out and about. It's disappointing to me how little people know the truth about skin cancer and how to use sunscreen to protect, and understanding the lifetime accumulation of sun damage. So yeah, working with the UV camera is so rewarding, and that's my Energizer Bunny.
Deborah, do you want to talk a little bit more about all the great work you've done on the Western Slope?
Yeah, like the number of people that you
great
last year.
Well, and my camera was working this morning, but it's not working now. I apologize. I recently retired. I work at St. Mary's Cancer Center for 12 years. And my last year that I was there, I screened over 1,000 people myself, just doing screenings in the Grand Junction area. And it was phenomenal. When we were at the 9 Health Fair, out of all of the other screenings that were taking place, we had the longest line, people really interested and curious about seeing their skin cancer damage. And then the grant that Melissa referred to, 10 universities across Colorado had already received the cameras. And so my grant was to follow up with them and see if they're using them and kind of re-energize them. And it was, I'm so glad we did that, because 75% of the cameras were in closets, because the students who were there when the cameras were granted are no longer there. And so there wasn't anybody driving the program. So I went to visit, and I also did training and provided a 3-ring binder, which showed pictures and helping people understand with sunscreen, without sunscreen, and also 2 large posters, one that's have a free look at the sun damage on your face, and one that really goes through showing the map of Colorado and our high elevation that is the cause of our high skin cancer rate. the ABCDs, how to use sunscreen. So that was so much fun. And I did really go all over, from Fort Collins and Greeley down to Colorado Springs and Pueblo and Gunnison and Durango. So it was great fun. And all of the students and all of the teachers, really everybody that I've ever talked to, is amazed when they find out the truth about sun damage and how to use sunscreen and the incidents and all of that. So it'll keep me going for a long time.
I also add that the Sun Bus, the opportunity to participate with the Sun Bus and go to all the different events that they go to a great number of events all over the state. And it's a good way to get into these events too, being with the Sun Bus, and a good opportunity to continue to educate the fine people of this state.
It's also just a great collaboration. So this summer, the coalition worked with the Sun Bus, or I guess really the Melanoma Foundation, to provide sunscreen to a few different Jeffco schools when kids were picking up lunches, free lunches. So we gave out the sunscreen and some sun safety messaging. And once things go back to normal, whenever that is, we're hoping to get some deeper integration into Jeffco schools, like at their fun runs, having the Sun Bus there, or if they do a health fair on campus, having the Sun Bus there, to just get the kids thinking all about sun safety really early on.
Yeah, there was a question on here about occupational risk, and yes, definitely. Landscapers are one, like coaches, football coaches and soccer coaches that are out in the sun a lot, construction workers, particularly roofers. So there's quite a bit of occupational induced vulnerability and risk just because of sun exposure, and thinking because you put sunscreen on in the morning, you're covered, rather than wearing a hat and long sleeves, which really is the sunscreen if you're going to be out in it all day.
And Dr. Delavalli made an interesting point that, yeah, men sometimes don't protect their skin maybe as much as women do when they're out in the sun, you know, in those jobs that have more sun exposure too. So it puts them at greater risk.
Melissa, it's Carlin. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
we
you're
look
fine.
forward to collaborating with you when the Sun Bus goes out on future outreach efforts.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So don't forget about the Survivorship and Palliative Care Task Force.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think, you know, you have such a captive audience at the Sun Bus when they're waiting for their turn to either be screened by a dermatologist or just get their face screened with a UV camera, that I think getting even just more comprehensive cancer screening messages into their hands and more prevention messages into their hands could be really valuable.
Yeah, and even incorporating that into the, you know, some of the events that we do without the Sun Bus for sure would be great as well.
Carlin, you could go with me when we go over to the VA again and can do the booth there for their health fair.
Happy to do so when it's safe to be out again.
And I would say darker pigmented people don't get screened as much, at least in my experience of the screenings that I've conducted with the UV camera. They feel that they have, and they do have more melanin in their skin than a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person. But and one time we did the UV camera on a Black individual, and his face was beautiful, but his lips had quite a bit of damage. So he was very surprised by that.
Another question came in is, does the Sun Bus go to any senior centers? Melissa or Dr. Delavalli, do you know if they've done that?
That's a good question. I don't know if they have, but that would be, yeah, I think that would be a great opportunity. So Dr. Neil Box with the Colorado Melanoma Foundation, he runs the Sun Bus, so I can bring that up to him as an idea. I know they're always looking for other events or ideas of good events to go to, so that's a great idea, and I can let him know.
There's the is it the website or the you can go on and see the schedule for the SunBus and volunteer as well on that website. Melissa, I think you might know what it is.
Yes, I believe it's just the sunbus.org, but yeah, thank you, Tommy. That's great. Yeah, that's a great point. So if you go to their website, which, yep, it's just the sunbus.org. It's a great website. It has updates on any upcoming events that they're able to go to. And then I believe there's a button on there to, be added to their email list or their volunteer list as well. And they're always looking for people to help out at these events. So if you can add yourself to their email list, then they can let you know when their next events will be.
Yeah, a lot of the SunBus events have been festivals. I know it's taken me to the Central American Festival of the Denver area, which I didn't know existed. So that has a big draw of Latinx population, and was an interesting population to screen and practice Spanish with. So the SunBus goes all over. I don't know if they've gone to senior centers in particular. I'm sure they're not going to senior centers right now with COVID, but maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah, the SunBus is so bright and beautiful. It is such an eye catcher that people are really drawn to it, and they know that there's free sunscreen, good sunscreen available there. And I also donated those same educational posters. She was really happy to have that consistent, so that when there's different volunteers, she wasn't sure that they were getting consistent education out to participants. So by having those posters there, which are also flyers, they were grateful to know that there was going to be consistent education going out to people with the SunBus. And we had them here for a bicycling event, Tour of the Moon, and everybody had sun damage. That's a very sun damaged group of people. I took it to a golf course and saw quite a bit of damage at a golf course.
They've also been helping during COVID with COVID testing in certain areas of the community.
Yep, quickly innovated to meet the public health need. We're gonna have to close up shortly for this and have a 5-minute break. But Melissa we had the slide up there about when they meet and how you can get involved. So it's scan at coloradocancercoalition.org. Is that right, Becky?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you can email them to get on the list, or you can go to the task force page and sign up there. But thank you, Melissa, for sharing